Hello, welcome. Today we've got a question about ultrafiltration, but also more to do with oncotic pressure. So pause the video here, read the question, try it out, and continue on to see how I answer it. Okay, so part I. Remember, you're going to read the question first, but there's another thing you're also going to do. You're going to reword the question to make more sense to you. It might make sense, but what I mean by that is rephrase it in a way that you can answer it straight away as if it was like a flashcard. So like here it says, state the effect of the water potential of the blood if the concentration of glucose increases. The way that I would rephrase it to make sense with how I've learnt content would be like, okay, if glucose increases, what happens to the water potential? That's it. And that way I can answer it. Water potential decreases. It makes sense. So that is like one of the biggest tips I can tell you whenever you're stuck or whenever you just want to, just want to get to the answer really quickly, which is, ideal. Just rephrase it in a way that's similar to how you revised the content. Might be flashcards, might be your notes, that way. Cool. So, next one. Explain why the oncotic pressure of the blood depends only on the concentration of large plasma proteins. Oh my god, oncotic pressure. I've struggled with that concept so much, and it's like I never found a proper definition or an explanation that like made sense to me. It's just such a weird concept, And it's like when we learned the whole tissue fluid thing, of course, oncotic pressure and hydrostatic pressure is involved, but it's like I didn't take the time to actually define what those two terms mean. So learn from my mistakes and learn what the definition of oncotic pressure and hydrostatic pressure is, because it comes up as an exam question. So then of course I got very lucky. I didn't have a solid definition for it, but until I was doing exam questions where I saw this specific one, and I was like, oh, thank God, examiners just gave me a definition I can write in my notes. So this is how I learnt some concepts that I didn't understand. By doing questions, I just copied down the answer and then like revised it and reviewed it continuously until my A-levels. So that's something you can do whenever you get stuck. But let's, go through this. Okay, oncotic pressure 101. In your head, associate those two words with plasma proteins, okay? So basically what happens is, right, large plasma proteins can't pass through the capillary wall. Why? It's because they're too large. So that's why, the capillaries are very thin. Also, they don't have I think it's the endothelium, the gaps are quite small. So they can't pass. Hence why they're called large. And then, because there's those proteins, that creates an imbalance between the blood and the tissue fluid, okay? And that is the reason why we call it oncotic pressure. So if you're a bit confused about what is she talking about, just go and look at the whole formation of tissue fluid diagram you can find on Google, even your textbook, and this is going to make so much more sense. You're welcome. Yeah, so that's how you do those two questions. And yeah, so remember, the two most important exam technique tips are: read the question first, also rephrase it to make more sense to you, and state all the obvious points. Now over to you. Try some questions and let me know how it goes.